Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this free video we're going to talk about market structure using the 8, 13, and 21 period exponential moving averages and also the 34 EMA wave and how that's all setting up a crude oil short. So taking a look at what I call market structure. I use very specific exponential moving averages, the interaction with each other, their organization, to understand whether or not I have a trending market or a non-trending market. Now within that, of course, we have uptrends and downtrends and accumulation and distribution, a narrow sideways market and a choppy sideways market, accumulation and distribution. So this is a very new trend. I use the organization of the 8 crossing down through the 13, the 8 crossing down through the 21 period exponential moving averages. That's what creates these dots right in here, these propulsion dots, we call them. And I'm also looking at the color of the graph candles. And in this area here, you can see the transition that occurred from blue to red. Now it's those red candles that give me a little bit more insight into bearishness, a little bit more insight into the fact that I should be focused on the downside. Now, the sooner I can have what I call directional bias, the sooner I can have confidence in the fact that I want to be short because the market structure is telling me to do so, the more confident I am about the underlying trade. In fact, at that point, I have a valid setup, or at least a valid symbol to start looking for setups on. Market trend, market structure, the phase of the current market, up, down, or sideways, is the first determination. Then comes strategy. Now, because we've seen recent, what I call neutral candles, these blue grab candles in here, got another one here, I'm going to be focused on a more conservative zone for my entry, which is going to be between the 34 EMA on the close and the 34 EMA on the high, something that I call the upper end of the zone. We always want to look for exhaustion whenever we're getting short. Where are we running into resistance? Where are the buyers losing momentum and the sellers are creating resistance and growing in numbers, or at least in conviction? And just think about what happened today in oil. Oil did finish higher, which is really what's presenting us the opportunity. So there's a ceasefire for 5 days in Syria, and there's also, unrelatedly, a tentative for now. Who knows how this is going to go through the European and UK Parliament, but for now there's this hope around a Brexit deal. At the same time, we have a huge EIA inventory build that also reflects the huge API build from yesterday. So EIA is the Energy Information Administration. They reported a 9.3 million barrel increase in inventories, known as a buildup. Yesterday, we had the American Petroleum Institute, the API, reflect, I believe it was 10.8 million barrel build. So the API number was huge, and the EIA number also big. This would typically be bearish. So clearly the market's ignoring this massive inventory build and focusing on Syria, focusing on Europe and the UK coming to some sort, at least initial agreement in this whole Brexit saga. You know, if you step back from today's headlines and even from the reports, there's still a slowing global economy. The IMF this week reiterated that they're actually downgrading their estimates for the global economy growth. We still have weak import and export data with China. And you would think that if this U.S.-China phase 1 completion was going to do anything, it would be to rally markets like copper and crude. We'll talk about copper in the premium video and how we use these two markets to really understand not the stock or equities point of view of optimism, but rather the canary in a coal mines, like I call them, of the global economic growth story or lack of growth story. But nonetheless, the market's focused on these current headlines. Current headlines tend to have temporary traction. So we're going to look for a setup to the short side, either by CL futures, QM futures, the USO ETF, or getting long put options, long puts. All right, so that's the plan here. We'll talk about this and a lot more in the premium video. I'll see you in the next update.